Today I'm going to speak on some biographical facts and philosophical point of view of Dostoevsky. It will be worth investigating why Dostoevsky is respected around the world, is considered as a great philosopher, and why his literature works and thoughts so strongly influenced the further existential representatives. Basically, I will concern his last and conclusive book, The Brothers Karamazov. So let's get started from biographical facts. Man is a mystery. It needs to be unraveled. And if you spend your whole life unraveling it, do not say that you wasted time. I am studying that mystery because I want to be a human being. These words were said by Fyodor Dostoevsky. The author of these words was born in St. Petersburg in 1821. His father was a well-educated doctor who taught his children to write, read, and Latin, but he was rather wicked and bad-tempered. His mother died early. The family was big and poor. There were 8 children there. From the child years, Dostoevsky was immersed in himself and fond of reading. At the age of 10, Dostoevsky was impressed with a cruel accident. 10-year-old girl was raped and therefore died. Throughout his life, Dostoevsky expressed the concept of a child's sufferings, as he thought children were innocent and holy, and they didn't deserve to be hurt. As was discovered later, Dostoevsky was ill for epilepsy. This disease is notorious for its changing a character of a person, making him anxious, fearful, temporary confusion, loss of consciousness can also be. At the age of 27, Dostoevsky was arrested for writing a banned letter of Belinsky, disregarding a censorship, and not reporting for other members of a club. Dostoevsky and other prisoners were sentenced to capital punishment, but when they were staying on the path to be shot, the blame was softened, and Dostoevsky was convicted to 4 years of hard labor. That imprisonment made a huge impact on him. Dostoevsky became deeply religious and hard-tempered. The only book he could read there was Gospel. All in all, knows from the underground, the true depiction of life in hard labor made him utterly famous. Speaking about other books, The Idiot, Crime and Punishment were taken controversial by public and critics, but it made him famous and readable abroad. Okay. Speaking about personal life of Dostoevsky, he had a failed, not failed, but rather miserable marriage with his first wife. By the way, she was ill for phthisis, and its symptoms intensified, and eventually she died. And after several months, his beloved brother Mikhail died as well. Okay, then Dostoevsky had a failed romance with his 20 years student, but she betrayed him while she was in Paris. Eventually, Dostoevsky could meet the love of his life, a wealthy lady, Anna Snitkina, and you have to know one fact about that period, that children's mortality was common there, and this family also faced with that problem. Their first child died after several months, and their beloved child Alexei could live only 3 years and therefore died. And Dostoevsky was feeling really guilty for their death, because that disease, epilepsy, was inherited from the father to the child. So now I would like to finish with the biography and consider some other issues. It will be clever to begin with that Dostoevsky frequently gives the surnames to his characters with an intention to reveal their temper. The witnesses can be Raskolnikov or Svidrigailov in Crime and Punishment, and the same relates to the surname Karamazov, which actually illustrates something filthy and dark. It concerns more or less all the brothers, even writers Alexei. And actually it also exists in the being of everyone. Every person is a son of God and the beast at the same time. There has to be one more feature mentioned, that Dostoevsky constantly examines his characters, putting them on the brink of death or other tragically hard episodes. In existentialism, it is called Grenzsituation. The term came from a German philosopher. Through these circumstances, Dostoevsky profoundly investigates the human being. There is a stereotype that Dostoevsky is a very grievous and agonizing writer, conferring his characters with different psychological and physical diseases, depicting the story cruelly, mournfully, and madly. Actually, those items were likely related to people who lived in the 19th century. Those people just didn't believe that Dostoevsky depicted the authentic picture of a life. They saw it much brighter. But all in all, after 2 world wars, totalitarianism, revolutions, also the progress of psychological sciences, I mean the appearance of Freud's psychoanalysis, it was found out that Dostoevsky's works had been relevant. And now I'd like to give a citation. Vonnegut in Slaughterhouse 5 wrote that there is one other book that can teach you everything you need to know about life. It's The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky. There is one more delusion which we have to get rid of today, that is Dostoevsky is a humanist. That's vice versa. Humanists praise science, progress, rational egoism, the enlightened society. Also, it's supposed that all efforts and resources must be referred to make our life safer and more comfortable. Actually, Dostoevsky destroys and condemns such typical humanistic beliefs. The evidence can be Ivan Karamazov, who tries to explain everything logically and rationally, and he also rejects God. If God existed, he wouldn't give so unfaithful sufferings to innocent children. In the famous utterance, if there is no God, everything is permitted, Dostoevsky cannot accept a human being without God, because we are not utterly perfect, and just will become beasts if reject him. So, Ivan Karamazov becomes out of his mind, and Menial Smerdikov considers him as the chief murderer of his father. Furthermore, according to Dostoevsky, sufferings are inevitable and integral part of a human's being. Only through them, people may atone for their sins. To conclude everything that was said, I'd like to point out one fact, that according to Dostoevsky, a human isn't only a mind, someone sensible, but it is actually something more profound, more free, and or scary at the same time. All these features are peculiar and integral for people. Thank you for your attention.